Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I hope you're well. And please watch the entire video all the way through. Like, comment, and subscribe, because that is very fortifying to me. And to know that I'm not trying to be helpful to folks who are like, I don't know why this chick keeps doing this stuff, because I ain't interested, okay? So I appreciate that. Now, to the surreality of the devil and the way he gets his message out. Trying to control large systems on a global scale is a different type of macro management than just your local, governmental offices downtown or whatever. It's a whole different can of worms. And I think because it's a action we wouldn't undertake, and they've minimized the whole concept of taking over the world by all sorts of cartoons, Pinky and the Brain, and in movies where, was it Austin Powers, you better do what I say or I want $1 million. They do all of that on purpose so that we don't take their goals very seriously, and it becomes like a demonic possession where we're hard pressed to put not just my speculations, but the actual data together. If we did, I would not be the only person talking about Fukushima fallout to the depth that I do. It would be impossible for folks to not speak on it, and they wouldn't need me here to compel them to do so. But they nonstop keep doing this sort of thing. This is Morgan Freeman, and this Arab gentleman over here who is literally missing the lower half of his body. I don't know the extent or the cause of his condition. I wish him all the best. I'm not mad at him or anything. He just ain't my tribe, right? But it almost seems as if he's descended down into the stage setting. Very important, just like Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith, where they just had that dynamic background, which wasn't an accident. That was in order to intensify the concept that the black man is the most aggressive man on the planet, especially since Will Smith is married to a satanic black woman, but he's still married to a black woman nonetheless. Chris Rock, he's just gone off with Becky altogether. He was on stage with, there they were, up on stage with a goat. What portion of that would be pro-black, sustaining in a way for us? Same thing with this right here. There's so many little signals they send out to one another so that different Satanists in different regions can know what to do next, like in China. What's happening in China right now is just ridiculous. It's just as comical as the start of the thing that I can't say what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm talking about because they censored it so ad nauseum. And they prepared us for the censorship with, Domino's Gate, okay? That's all I can say as far as that goes, too. They prepared us for censorship with that. But this is a Ferris wheel, and this is something from watching so many daggone Korean dramas, there's always a scene showing the Ferris wheel. It's so ridiculous. I even did a share just going over the whole meaning of the Ferris wheel. But this Ferris wheel collapse right before all the insanity. And I don't care if in the headlines, Western headlines, they're saying, oh, China's going to, stop the ramp up of their heavy lockdown management. They call it static management. That's so that they don't upset the Chinese citizens too much. It's still the same old lockdown. They're going to stop all of that. No, they just passed it off to the individual provinces so that they could have a headline like that, because the West is on board with China. Right? I know they are. I know that more than likely my larger channels were brought down because I was just putting way too many pieces together. And a huge one was the lie of China in Africa, that it was engaging in debt forgiveness. No, these were just considered gifts anyway. And for them to say, oh, no, you don't have to pay it back, that's a whole bunch of malarkey. What it is that if they give you a gift, they want you to co-sign whatever the hell they do. China is freaky deaky, off the charts right now, where it just makes no damn sense unless they don't mean to try to just bring the CCP back. They say they want to bring back Mao Zedong's era where everything is social. And there'll be no more individual private businesses. No, this has been a hell of a setup. Where they used their best capital, which was their own Chinese people's intellect, and greed. They encourage greed. They encourage corruption in the schools. That's what happens when you have a atheistic base government and a tyrannical one, because China runs its government off of corruption, meaning that they use it as a method to take out different governmental figures. Because if you don't participate in the corruption, you do not elevate yourself to the next level. You're looked at as if there's something wrong with this dude because he wants to be honest. They use it as a method of control so that when they want to take somebody down, they could just all of a sudden say, like Xi Jinping has said, oh, I'm going on a war against corruption. No, he's just going to pick selective people and say, you're out. I don't think that you're going to support me in knocking off most of our population. So they knew that they would build up a capital base that then the CCP could raid at a certain point in time as they exterminate their own population, because that's why they have a certain amount of members within the structure who are supported by the satanic elites. All right. And so this was a signal to them. Okay, now that you did that whole thing that we censored everybody from being able to analyze in great depth, now that you did that, now it's the next level. Which is this, and all sorts of things, the whole like Kobe going down in a helicopter, and the fact that his name means a whole different thing when you look up what I can't speak about in a truthful manner. These people be sending signals out all over the place. So I found it very interesting that you just, first off, let me say the placement. This dude is all up on this line. Why they got this line here? And then notice he's in all black. And then this guy who's further away and not even really looking at him right here is dressed in all white. This is as above, so below BS, right? Where Morgan's reaching across to him. He's over the line. And remember, Morgan got to play God. He got to play God, right? He's reaching over to the dude right there. And the dude is low down. He low down. This is sympathy for the devil, right? So this is, again, no shade to this gentleman on the other side, the Arab. But this is emblematic of what they know they are, right? And I just got to also mention this whole Gothard tunnel opening ceremony that was so, this was 5 years ago. When this happened, all the craziness we're seeing right now, and we would have been shocked. We would have been like, what the hell's going on there? Men in dresses? No, get out. Right? But all of a sudden they pulled out all the stops. And here I was surprised that I actually could see they had a biracial chick in all of this. At a really key point of the ceremony. I didn't watch the ceremony. I just analyzed bits and pieces and looked up the history of this whole goat legend in, what was it, Switzerland or whatever. This was all attached to their CERN, Hadron particle colliders, and them trying to get into other dimensions so that they can escape the hell that they will take with them no matter where they go. So they don't do anybody like they do black us. Nobody on the planet gets treated like us because this is biblical. This is the Most High. I call him Allah, but I don't call him because I worship some Arab people out there. They didn't create God, right? The creator of all things. And they also lie about the Prophet Muhammad. He was black, okay? And so I noticed that they just really had to just heap on the negativity towards Morgan Freeman when he was never, like, first off, they hinted about him having been accused by various women, and they always have to find the one Procyon Loter, black female, black male, to drag out to start the accusations, to give them some sort of validity so it doesn't look like it's just the regular lynching, regular Becky screaming, he raped me, oh my God! And for a lot of these dudes, this was too close to real for them. I'm not saying that if it's true, well then there you go. But this wasn't even, nobody even brought up charges on the man. And I don't like Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is a total Procyon Loter, okay? But at the same time, suddenly I'm looking at the disgrace. I'm like, how long are you going to keep dragging all this stuff up? And they just mean about him going to Qatar in the first place. Because it's so anti-homosexual. Good for them! If they want to keep away the transgender nonsense out there, trans-surgical nonsense, you gotta stop it at the gate. So it's just striking, the level of just over-the-top disrespect towards Morgan Freeman, and I'm gonna show you the contrast, because I was just looking at headline after headline where they kept it up, like World Cup fans slam sellout Morgan Freeman for taking Qatar's blood money to front opening ceremony. Oh my goodness. They even had to drag up, and 12 years after fluffing his lines in USA's failed bid to host 2022 tournament. You notice they always do this to these black celebrities, the men. They'll have them host something, and then the simplest little thing, they'll suddenly sound like an ignoramus trying to recite their lines. That's not an accident. Because unless the white man get tarnished with the same just contempt that they're hurling at Morgan Freeman, is real easy because he makes himself available as a Procyon Loter. Can anything tarnish David Beckham's reputation? Experts claim backlash against Star's deal with Qatar will not last because he's like Teflon when it comes to scandals. No, it's because the devil picks and chooses, and the war is against black us specifically. So when I go over, it seems like it's a side thing, but all things are connected. When I go over how the FDA is allowing Fukushima food directly into the U.S. food stream, where would you conclude that food is going to be targeted? At others? No, it's just like Oppenheimer said. When we are sure we could kill 500,000 men, then we will use contaminated food that can reach 1,000,000 men, because there's all kinds of little things that'll just, kind of complicate things. And like the CMOS, a sister like me warning you about it. Now I notice they're peddling mushroom coffee. Avoid the mushrooms, because next to the sea vegetation, mushrooms absorb massive quantities of radiation. They're also, my king has informed me, they're nitrogen fixators, and thereby for your melanin overall, they're going to destroy its function. All right? But that radiation, it's the number one top threat to all of us. Our good brother, Unmute Me 2.0, sent me this link. I thank you, brother. Scientists want to send 6.7 million sperm samples to the moon. Well, why they want to send it all the way up there? That's because they know they've destroyed this planet. If we don't get out that alert that there are remedies for Fukushima. See, these rich white people, they're a heck of a lot stupider than we want to acknowledge. No, you can't leave the devil in charge of anything, because not only is he insidiously diabolical, he's stupid too. Okay? And so you got these rich white folks running around here who they had to build a giant statue in Jersey City, warning them, you best shut up. You best shut up. Okay? Because they're starting to ask questions. They're starting to wonder about their own loyalty, whether they can keep this whole ruse going. And so these guys know, because they've done massive quantities of studying the trajectory of radiological contamination, they know that it progressively concentrates higher and higher, not only up the food chain, but generationally it concentrates, so that after a certain term, whatever species has been infested with it they know that whatever species has been contaminated, increasingly their progeny are overwhelmed with genetic mutations and disabilities and are no longer viable, because there's no reason to send 6.7 million sperm samples. They're not talking about individual sperm. They're talking about sperm samples to the moon. And the question is, whose samples are they sending? Yours and mine? Oh, no. They're sending what they would consider the perfect race. And they're not actually going to be viable once they are exposed to the cosmic radiation beyond the Van Allen belt. That's why they ain't sending no more humans over to the moon. This is a story to placate their stupid, rich white people who believe the Elon Musk narrative, because oh my goodness, they're so much dumber than we would ever take into account. And I almost forgot to include this portion of, the China getting different cues, satanic cues, where in Shanghai, there was an explosion on November 11th. So that's 11/11/22. And I would have known something was up, but it was the fact that it occurred on subway line 11. I was just like, goodness gracious, can you scream Baphometic alert any louder than this? Where I don't know what's going to be happening now, but I think there's going to be absolutely no hesitancy on their part to get their much desired Georgia Guidestones culling done, and nothing of the sort has to happen to any people anywhere. When we let the world know that when you kill oceans, because I know all them dead creatures, they ain't go to no doctor for no daggone, pokey, right? When you do that, you have lost, but only if we claim our victory. And so just as much as I analyze even topics that aren't the focus of my studies, that radiation is. And so in every book I've written, I've embedded the totality of my warning, but in a manner that's not fear-mongering. It's to let you know, glory be to Allah, use the name of the Creator, that you have been divinely guided to embrace. Right? The one and the only. Don't get into no polytheism, because everything it's been prophesied, okay? It's a glorious destruction of the evil and the evildoers. Is nothing to, I think that is maybe some of the hesitancy. And also I'm going to be doing the audio, but each thing, like doing these shares, takes a long time. That's why I ask you to listen all the way through, but then support your soldiers who are fighting feverishly to let you know, we got this. We got this. I thank the sister who she went and she bought all these books. Get them off a 25,000 year cycle, because you could get the ebooks that you can't get on Amazon, including Furnace of Affliction. $20 is an ebook. $35 is a hard copy. As soon as I got the sister's order that very morning, my king told me about it. I said, I can pack it up right now and send it to her that day. Okay, and also This Black Nation. I love that book. You can get that as an ebook. Can't get it as an ebook on Amazon. All right. This ain't no gimmick, obviously, on my part. This is me knowing without you, there is no me. Straight black family pride. And we are on our way to forever. Because there's also cures for the damage that radiation causes to your ovum and your sperm. All right? All right. I love you. Peace and blessings.